Level 1. Turai, private. You are 18 years old. A bus drops you at the induction base. You hand over your phone. You are given an olive drab uniform that doesn't fit. You are given a Taver rifle. They tell you it goes everywhere you go. To the mess hall, to the shower, to bed. You will sleep with it beside you like it is the most important thing in your life. For the next several months, it is. Your days are runs before sunrise, push-ups in the dirt, navigation through dark hills with no landmarks and no sleep. You learn the IDF's ethical code by heart. You recite it until it stops feeling like words. Every lesson is designed to break the civilian out of you and leave something harder in its place. You are not being punished. This is just what it costs to become a soldier here. Your commanders are 20 years old and have total authority over you. You ask permission to use the bathroom. You stand at attention when they enter the room. Then comes the final march. The Masa Kumta, 30 miles through the night in full combat gear. Your feet stop hurting somewhere around hour 4. You stop counting. You cross the finish line at dawn. A commander places the unit beret in your hands. You have never felt this before. You don't have the word for it yet. Level 2. Samal, Sergeant. Months have passed. You know the ground now. You know your rifle the way you know your own hands. They put a green cord on your left shoulder. This is the aiguillette of a combat commander. It means you are a Mashak now. You lead a fire team. 4 soldiers. Their lives travel with you on every patrol. Your world is the Shitak, the field. Night vision goggles flipped up on your helmet, turning everything a cold, flat green. You move through narrow alleys, scan rooftops, run checkpoints along the border fence at 3 a.m. Before each patrol, you check every soldier's gear. If one of them has a loose magazine, that's on you. If a rifle jams in contact, that's on you. You are the first through every door and the last asleep. Your platoon commander is often your age, sometimes younger, having gone to officer school while you were fighting. He plans from behind. You lead from the front. When the order is wrong, you know it before he does. You execute it anyway, or you speak up and accept what comes after. The sniper doesn't aim for the officer. He aims for the man in front. You bring your 4 soldiers home every time. This is not heroism. This is the floor. Anything less is failure. That is how you have learned to measure it. Level 3. Segen Mishne, 2nd Lieutenant. They send you to Bahad 1, the officer's school in the Negev. For months you learn to think like a commander. Then they pin a single brass bar on your shoulder and hand you a list of 32 names. These are your soldiers now. You read the list twice on the bus to your new unit. You read it again that night. You plan operations from topographic maps spread across the hood of a Jeep. You coordinate fire support and extraction routes and contingencies for contingencies. You give the order to move, and then you watch your soldiers execute it, and you feel for the first time the vertigo of sending people somewhere based entirely on your judgment. Your platoon sergeant has done this for 3 years. He knows every fold of the terrain, every habit of the soldiers, every way the plan can break. The soldiers trust him more than they trust you. He knows it. You know it. He is professional enough not to say it in front of them. 6 months pass before a soldier follows your order without a half second of hesitation. That half second is the gap between what you are and what you are becoming. You work inside it every day. Level 4, Seren, Captain. 120 soldiers call you Mempe. Company Commander, you have 3 platoon commanders and a command post with 3 radios running simultaneously. The Mempe is the hinge between the soldiers doing the fighting and the officers planning it. You coordinate maneuver, fire support, logistics, and medical evacuation in real time while all 3 of your lieutenants are asking you different questions on different channels. You make the call when the intelligence is wrong. You authorize the abort when something doesn't feel right. And then you spend 2 days justifying that call to your battalion commander who was not there and cannot feel what you felt. Reserve duty begins to take shape on the horizon. You have heard older captains talk about it. Called back once a year. Sometimes more, into your 30s, your 40s. The IDF does not fully release anyone. You understood this in theory. You are starting to understand it in your body. A soldier in your company is injured on an operation you designed. The casualty form has a line for your signature. You sign it. You write the after-action report. The part about what you felt in that moment is not in the form. You don't write it anywhere. Level 5, Rev Seren. Major, you are no longer in the field. You are in a building with screens and satellite feeds and liaison officers from intelligence, from artillery, from the Air Force. You are the battalion operations officer. You write the orders that send the company commanders into positions you have designed from a map. This is a different kind of power. It is harder to feel. It is larger in scope. You watch an operation unfold on a drone feed. 90 seconds in, you see that one contingency you plan for is not the contingency that is happening. You have 12 seconds to recommend a course correction to the battalion commander. He decides. You watch the result. A soldier is hit following a plan you wrote at a table 3 days ago in a room that did not smell like the place where it just happened. You write the next plan. That is the job. You do it without being told to? The battalion commander presents the operational results at the debrief. Your name is in the footnotes of the report. You are already planning the next one. Level 6. Sgan Aluf, Lieutenant Colonel. A letter requires the approval of a Major General and the IDF Manpower Directorate. Your name is on it. You command a battalion now. 400 soldiers, sometimes more. The oak leaf pip on your shoulder means something different than the bars did. The bars said you were an officer. The oak leaf says you are a formation. Your soldiers fight the way you trained them. Your decisions live in their bodies in the field, in the dark, in the moments you cannot see. You know this because you were there once, executing someone else's orders, and you remember how much the commander's character mattered when the plan broke apart. You are the last rank where you still know most of your soldiers by name. You know this is almost over. You try to see them clearly before it changes. You call a halt to an operation mid-execution because the intelligence picture has shifted. Your brigade commander is on the radio, controlled and cold. You hold the position. You are right. The acknowledgement comes 12 hours later in a brief professional sentence. That is all it is. That is enough. Level 7. Aluf Mishne. Colonel, you command a brigade, 3,000 soldiers across multiple battalions. Your operations appear in newspapers. Parliamentary committees ask questions about what your forces did and how and why. You answer them. That is also the job. Your headquarters runs around the clock. Intelligence officers brief you first. Then you decide what your battalion commanders need to know. Information is power at this level. You control its flow, and the decisions you make about that flow have consequences you cannot always track. You authorize an operation that you know will produce casualties. You sign your name to the order. You do not glamorize this. You do not look away from it. You sign it because the alternative is worse, or because the mission is necessary, or because that is the calculation you have made, and you are prepared to stand behind it in any room, in front of any committee, for the rest of your life. Your soldiers are moving on a map now. You remember when they had faces. They still do. You know that. But the scope has grown beyond what a person can hold individually and still function. That is not indifference. It is the cost of command at scale. Nobody explains this to you in advance. You arrive at it alone. Level 8, Tat Aluf, Brigadier General. You have a driver now. You have a security detail. You chair a morning intelligence brief, where the Mossad liaison sits to your left and the Shin Bet liaison sits to your right. You command a division, 15,000 soldiers, maybe more, 3 to 5 brigades operating across a theater. You do not move them. You direct the conditions under which they move. You brief major generals. You sit in rooms where military strategy becomes national policy. The decisions at this level do not happen in the field. They happen at tables, in secure buildings, on encrypted lines, and they cascade downward through 8 levels before they reach the soldier at the bottom who does the thing that you decided. Your term is finite, 3 years if you are lucky, 4 if you are needed. When it ends, you will become a former general. You will sit on security councils and write op-eds and testify before committees. You will spend the rest of your life explaining decisions made in 3-second windows with incomplete information in rooms that no longer exist. Some of those decisions will define you publicly for decades. That is what it means to serve at this level in this country. You signed up for it. The moment arrives differently than you expected. Level 9, Rav Aluf. Ramatkal, Chief of the General Staff. There is one of you. In the entire country, at any given moment in history, exactly one person holds this rank. The sword and olive branch on both shoulders. The Ramatkal. The government voted to give you this. The defense minister recommended you. The prime minister concurred. You chair the General Staff Forum. The heads of ground forces, air force, navy, military intelligence, and home front command sit around the table and look at you. When you speak, the room does not just listen. The room adjusts. You brief the prime minister. You advise the defense minister. Every soldier in the IDF, all 170,000 active, nearly 500,000 in reserve, operates inside a command structure that ends with your signature. You sign orders that move entire divisions. You authorize operations that will be studied in military academies for generations. You are the primary military voice of the State of Israel, and Israel has not known a generation without conflict. That weight is not abstract. It is present every morning when you sit down. Your term is 3 years. Maybe 4. When it ends, you will be investigated, analyzed, judged. If something catastrophic happens on your watch, you will resign. That is the doctrine. You helped write it. Lieutenant General Hirzi Halevi signed his resignation over what happened on October 7th. He walked out. The army continued. It always continues. You started as a Turai on a bus to the induction base. Rifle you didn't know how to hold. Uniform that didn't fit. You were 18 and you had no idea what this country was going to ask of you. Now you know. You are the answer to that question. And when your time here ends, there will be a ceremony, and you will watch them place the insignia on someone else's shoulders, and you will salute, and you will walk out into whatever comes next, and the army will not pause. It never does. That was always the point. Always.